Jeff Beckwith here. The other day somebody called and asked me, since they would be not driving around for a few weeks, if there was anything special they should be doing to their car. Yeah, the answer was it depends. If your car is fairly new and your battery is maybe only a few years old, maybe 2 years old, maybe 3, you're going to be fine. Your car will probably last about a month without any issue. However, if you're like the rest of us, and your car's a little bit older, and your battery is, well, I don't know how old, and your car sits around because, well, you didn't really think about it, you might find yourself in this situation. Nothing. Now what? I can hear the key chime working. I've got some power, but it just doesn't start. It may click. You don't know what it could be. What's going on with this thing? You don't know what to do. You turn your headlights on. Hear a funny noise. They're not even coming on. What kind of problems am I having here? The car ran when I parked it, so it should be fine, but it isn't. It's probably just a dead battery. What am I going to do? Depends on what I have to work with. If you got some of these old jumper cables like we used to always carry around, maybe wound up in your trunk around everything, maybe that's the only thing you have to use. If you've got another vehicle to jump yourself with, these will work. If you're fortunate enough to have yourself a nice little jump box in the car, which, you know, is a handy little thing to have. It's super light and easy to carry, and it's so small it's hard to imagine it even starting a car. It's a good choice. So let's see if this is a really dead car. We'll start on this little itty bitty jump box. Give it a shot. I'll turn it right off after so we can use the cables. Nothing. Well, the little jump box let us down. Let's see if we have it connected properly. Ooh, it was such a draw that it turned itself off. This might be too much for this little fellow, but we'll give it another shot. Turn it on. A little blue light to say it's fully charged. Let's see if we can do it. No. Let's try another one. Same idea. This one's a little bit bigger. Let's see if it'll start this completely dead car. Green light says it's ready. Give it a shot. I heard it start to turn on. No. Okay. Jump in. Well, we were able to start it with the jump box. The battery is so low, the car's computer turned the car off. Most modern cars have a protection in the computer where if you drop below 11.5 volts or so, the computer shuts it off. So we may have to charge this battery. Let's say we really got to get to the store or whatever. We want to go with the jump method. Okay, I forgot. We use another car generally. I'm going to use this work cart here because it has the battery in it. Ideally, we would use another car. We hook the cables up. Positive. The positive terminal, by the way, it will generally be marked. If you don't see that it's marked, the positive terminal is also slightly larger than the negative. Be very careful not to reverse those because, you know, it's going to cause a problem. If you're not sure, look it over really carefully. Find the mark on there. The positive and negative will be marked. If you can't see it for some reason, the negative will also have a small cable coming around and bolted onto the body ground. So there's your extra hint there. Ideally, your last connection will be the negative on the dead vehicle. Ideally, you'll ground it to the engine block, and you should see a little spark come off of it to show that you're fully connected. This car has so much plastic on it I can't get on it. Wow, engine ground. And that ain't working. So this battery is so dead it doesn't even want to take a jump. Now, if you don't have a battery charger, what you can do, hook up your terminals, make sure you're hooked up good, that you had a spark on the ground, let your running vehicle run, go back inside, have a coffee, hang out for 20-30 minutes. Let the running vehicle charge the dead vehicle. In this case, that's not a running vehicle, so that ain't happening. So we're going to get rid of this. We're going to move to our second line. Some kind of battery charger. Now, if you got one about this size, it's a nice little size battery charger. Maybe you have an older one that looks a little squarer with a couple different settings on it. You can use that as well. Charging up here. Then, again, the red one going on the positive, which is the larger terminal. Negative. Now pick out a setting on it. If you have settings, you'll want to pick out a setting. If you're in a bit of a hurry, you'll set it to your higher setting. If it's got a 40 amp setting, you should be able to have enough power to at least start it if you set it on 40 amps for 20 minutes or so. If it has lower settings than that, like 15 amps, it's probably going to take you a few hours. I'll link a rate of charge chart on the comments. This one is a smart charger, and basically all we got to tell it is what kind of battery we have. It's a standard battery, and it has an indicator light that says yes, it's charging, and that it is connected. So this one's pretty helpful here. It has a size chart of small and large, and it also has an engine start mode. I think we're beyond engine start mode. This battery is dead. And you can hear that it's charging, and you see that it's putting out 13.5 volts. Again, depending on what amperage this is, if this is putting out about 15 amps, it's going to have to sit for several hours before it's any good. If you have another style battery charger that puts out more amperage, like this one. When you hook it up to cables, you'll notice the cable goes in one side of the clamp. That's the side that's powered. On this side, if you hook this side to the battery, it's not going to work well. So make sure the cable side is on the side that's touching the metal of the battery terminal. And I'm going to have this set. The gauge shows me that I have it hooked up. And I can turn this one up to 80 amps for jump starting. Give it a few seconds. And now, turn it off. It's good to go. if you jumped your car like that and only let it run for a little bit, maybe you've driven to the store, when you get to the store it's not going to start again. So you'll want to leave it run. The alternator, however, is not designed to fully charge your battery. It's designed to keep your battery charged. So when you get back home, leave it run while you're at the store. When you get back home, put it on a charger, charge it up properly. And again, I'll link one of these charge rate charts on the comment section. And depending on how dead the battery is and what amperage charger you have to work with, the amount of time that you're going to have to leave it on the charger. For instance, if we have a 40 amp setting on our charger, if we're fortunate enough to have that, we can let that thing run for 25-30 minutes and it should be in pretty decent shape. Maybe after the 25-30 minutes, let it cool down for a while, another 25-30 minutes, and then put it on for another 20 minutes or so, and then you should be in great shape. If we have a smaller charger like this little fella here, it's going to take about half a day at 15 amps. And in our case, this was the amperage of the battery is stamped on it. This was a 580 amp battery. It was very dead. As you could see, it wouldn't even light up the lights. At 10 amps, it's going to take 7 hours to fully charge. At 30 amps, 3.5 hours. If you have a small charger, or you have plenty of time, you can set it up at a 5 amp rate, 14 hours. So that sometimes is the easiest thing if you're not in a big rush, is to put it on a small charge and just walk away from it and leave it. On that same note, if you want to be a little ahead of the game, a little charger like this puts out 1.5, 2 amps. You can plug it into your battery, charge it up onto your battery, and leave it on there continually. On your seasonal vehicles, let's say it's a sporty car or it's a thing that you only use in the wintertime, in its opposite season when it's not being used, you can leave this on there all the time. I do it myself. I have 3 or 4 of these little things on the various pieces of equipment I have in my yard, charging all the time, so they're always ready to go, so I don't get in a situation like what we have here. I hope I was helpful. If not, ask questions in the comments or give me a call. Thank you.